Buenos días, Year 7, o buenas tardes if you're watching this in the afternoon. Bienvenido a nuestra segunda clase de español. Welcome to our second Spanish class of the week, and we're continuing with our topic, Mi Familia, which means my family. So back to our lesson aims for the week. We are looking to understand vocabulary about family members and our numbers up to 100, and that's what we'll be focusing on today. We'll apply the vocabulary learnt by writing a paragraph, which we'll do in a later lesson, and we'll evaluate and set targets on how to improve. Empezamos entonces. Let's start. So your starter task, busca las palabras. I would like you to look for the words that you can see in that beautiful rainbow-coloured word snake. So there's a real mix of the family words that we learnt last lesson in here. And I would like you to identify them and write them down. But I would also like you to add on if the article, and you'll need to work out whether they're masculine or feminine. So you may have noticed when we looked at these family words last lesson, words, nouns that end in O, generally speaking, are masculine, particularly if they're nouns referring to people, males, they will be masculine. If they are likewise, if they are feminine, they're likely to end in A. This isn't always the case, but normally it is. They are likely to end in A and will be feminine. So the articles you'll look for are either L, the articles you'll be using are either L or la, okay? And there might be some plurals. So remember we changed that the L turns to los and the la changes to las in the plural. As always, there's an extension, so you need to translate, there are 12 people in my family, it is very big. Okay, so pause this video now so that you can complete that. Excelente, muy bien. Vamos a corregir, we're going to correct. Let's have a look at what the answers are. So you can see the top line of the snake, we have el abuelo, meaning grandfather, el hijo, son, la hermana, sister, la tía, aunt, el padre, father, la madre, mother, and la prima, cousin. And in this sense, la prima is a female cousin. We know that because it's la and ends in a. So the plurals, los hermanos, siblings or brothers and sisters is another way to say that. Los abuelos, the grandparents. Los sobrinos, nieces and nephews. Los padres, the parents. Los primos, the cousins. Los tíos, the aunts and uncles. Okay, and the answer to the extension, hay 12 personas en mi familia. There are 12 people in my family. Es muy grande. It's really big. Okay, hopefully you've got most of that right. You've identified the words and also added on the article. Let's move on. So our class today, we are going to recap our numbers 1 to 30 and practice using those. We're going to look at numbers 30 to 100 and practice using those. We're then going to consolidate that with the family members and ages, and then we'll do finally our plenary. So you will remember from last term, we looked at our numbers 1 to 31 actually, when we were remembering how to say mi cumpleaños es el, and we were giving dates. That's why we went up to 31. So those are all of our numbers. I'd just like to revise those with you. It's always really, really good to just keep revising your numbers and revising things in general. So I will say them, and then I'd like you to repeat them after me. So you'll remember there's the little icon up there, which is your cue for this is our chance to do some really good speaking practice. Okay, so I'll start and then you repeat after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Remember our V's in Spanish to pronounce as B's, okay? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, hopefully you remembered all of those. Continuamos. I would now like us to play ping pong. Vamos a jugar. We're going to play. I'd like you to play ping pong in Spanish with me. And we'll do our numbers 1 to 30. So how this game works, it's really easy. I say a number, it's like I'm batting it back to you and you say the next number. Okay, so let's try and do it as quickly as we possibly can. So obviously we'll do this in Spanish, but it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we'll do, I'll say the odd numbers. I'll start with number 1. You'll say the even number, and then we'll carry on all the way up to 30. Okay, listo? Ready? Excelente. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, and you should have ended with 30. Hopefully you could do that without looking in your book, but if you couldn't, no problem at all. Have your notes in front of you and do it with your notes in front of you, okay? Muy bien, continuamos. So let's now revise our numbers 30, now let's look at our numbers 30 to 100 and practice those. So after the number 30 in Spanish, it forms a pattern. So now the 21 to 29 is a little bit different because rather than using the and, we replace that with an I and it's all one word. However, from 30 onwards, we say the number, so the unit of 10 plus whatever number unit it is. So 31 would be 30 and 1, 30 and 2. And that continues. Okay, so that continues in the 30s and 40s and 50s all the way up to 100. So once again, I will say these and if you repeat after me. So 31, 31. 32, 32. 33, 33. 34, 34. 35, 35. 36, 36. 37, 37. 38, 38. 39, 39. Y 40. So that's 40. Then we have 50, 50. 60, 60. 70, 70. Be very careful. There's only one letter difference between 60 and 70. You'll see that's ses, enter, and 70 is setenta. So be really, really aware. There's just that tiny difference. You really have to listen carefully. Number 80, 80. 90, 90. Remember our V's are B's. 90. And 100, 100. Remember that C is a TH, 100. So just repeat those again. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 y 100. Muy bien, excelente. You can pause this video, go back and listen to it as many times and repeat it as many times as you need to. Continuamos. I would now like you to write these accurately in your books. So you've already got a note of 0 to 31, which we did last term. So if you can just copy this exactly as it is, as you can see here, 30 to 40, and then in tens up to 100. You can pause this video whilst you do that. Muy bien, continuamos. So, vamos a escuchar. Now we're going to do a listening. So, as in the previous lesson, I will say the number and I would like you to write down what I've said. Writing it just in figures is absolutely fine, okay? So if I was to say the number 10, you could just write 1 and 0, okay? Except I'll be doing it in Spanish. Okay, ¿listos? Ready? Excelente. Número 1. 86. Número 2. 100. Número 3. 45. Número 4. 23. Número 5. 18. Número 6. 37. Número 7. 61. Número 8. 50. Número 9. 72. Y número 10. 94. Muy bien. If you need to, you can play that again, pause me, go back and you can listen to it again. Ideally, just listen to it twice, okay? See how you've got on. So these are the answers. Hopefully you got all of these correct. So please use a red pen to mark your work and give yourself a score out of 10. Hopefully you all got at least above 5. I'm sure you have done. Muy bien, continuamos. So we've looked at our numbers 1 to 30 and 30 to 100, and now we're just going to pull that all together and consolidate it, practicing our family members and giving their ages. Okay, so this is a reading and writing comprehension, a reading comprehension and a writing exercise at the same time. I would like you to read the text and just write down in words the ages. So you can see there I've underlined, emboldened and put in red the ages. So all you need to do is write down in words the ages that you see. Okay, so pause this video to do that. And you've got about, give yourself about 3 or 4 minutes to do it. Excelente. Let's look at the answers. So here we have the answers. Soraya, 14, Carmen, 11, Juan, 18, la madre, 52, el padre, 49, el abuelo, 83, y la abuela, 78. Give yourself a mark out of 7. Muy bien, continuamos. Para terminar, to finish. So finally, your plenary for today is please write down what you have learnt in this lesson. Muy bien. Muchas gracias para tu atención y hasta pronto. Adiós.